Wonderful.
Glory.
Wonderful. We're excited. So glad to have you all with us today. We are very excited and we thank you for joining us. We are excited to tell our story today and we thank you for being here with us today.
Yes.
32 years in marriage and still counting
Still counting.
and still in love.
Yeah.
So I want my beautiful, wonderful wife, who I love with all my heart. She is a good organizer, good planner, good storyteller, good talker. I want her to anchor our few time we have together with you today on this Tell Your Story forum. My love, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, we have a story to tell, right?
We sure do.
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to say welcome to our new channel, Love
Welcome,
in Paradise.
welcome.
So,
Indeed.
so this is giving birth to a new YouTube channel.
There you go.
If you type in Love in Paradise or you type in Israel and Lina Jimah, you're going to be connected to us. So, hey, I'm excited. Be the first to subscribe.
Yeah, you better subscribe and share.
Be the first to share it. Be the first to subscribe. It's going to be really, really interesting today because we're going to really be telling our story. My love, not a lot of people really tell their story.
Yeah, that's a fact. And many times when you tell your story, you help other people with your story.
Exactly. And
So,
that's the purpose for this, right?
exactly, yes.
Because we've gone through ups and downs.
You name it.
People see us today, like lovebirds,
Hmm.
glamorous, happy, excited. But they really don't know that sometimes we have moments of, you know, feeling bad, moment of giving up, moment of divorcing, moment of, we have all kind of moments in these 32 years. You can
Exactly.
imagine that.
That's correct.
And so we have moment of high love affair.
Hmm.
So it's just so we just feel led to start this YouTube channel and so that people can benefit from our story.
Yeah, we're going to talking about love, falling in love, relationship, marriage, how to manage conflicts in relationships, and much more. But today we are going to share with you our own story.
Yes.
Everybody has a story, correct, my love?
Everybody's got a story to
Yeah,
tell.
your story may not be our story, but every story is a story. It's a story, and every story is unique and special. So your story may not be like ours. That doesn't make it any less important than ours. Every story is important.
Yeah, you're correct. Every story is important. No matter the story you have, whether you fell in love at first sight, the very first day you met somebody, you fell in love, and then the next day you got married, it's a story that's unique. Good, fine. Or you fell in love, and for whatever reason, 10 years after was when you got married. That is your story because somebody also is in that same shoes.
Exactly.
So that's why we want to really encourage people. You know what? I just got myself messed up with our with our anniversary cake. I'm so excited. I can't wait to eat that cake.
I tell
So
you.
every story is unique. Every story is good. Every story is fine. So if you have a story, do not compare your story with our story. Because comparison is a bad game. It's really a bad game. Don't compare your experiences, your story to our story. Ours is unique in its own. Yours is also unique in its own. So whether when you fell in love, you were able to to get a $10,000 diamond ring. Oh, he gave you $10,000 diamond ring. And you were, goosebump went to your body and you say, yes, 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 yes. And your marriage is nice, it's good. Fine, that's your story. Hey, praise God for that. That's your story.
That's correct.
Or you even got proposed by the roadside like me, or you got proposed while you were eating gari and whatever, eba, and the man just said, I think you need to silence him.
What is Eba? Just a joke about it.
Let's let's leave that to let's leave that to another time. So so whatever your story is, whatever thing, whatever way is good, that's what we want to start with. So don't be intimidated. Don't say, oh, my husband or my boyfriend or my fiancé or my fiance didn't propose to me this way. Mm-mm. Don't do that. You know, whatever way, whether you were proposed at a big stadium
Or in
is,
a lonely street corner.
or in a lonely street corner,
It doesn't matter. Doesn't
like
matter.
you did to me in a
Doesn't
lonely
matter.
street
You know,
corner.
you know, my Lord, one thing is today I want to share with you our own story, but
Yes.
along the line, I want to hear your own story as well.
Mhm.
This is just a first video on this channel.
Yes.
Many more videos are going to come up. I want to hear your own story.
That's right.
You know why? Your story will help somebody else too.
Sure.
Today, our story will be a help to many people. And don't look down on your story. No matter how it looks, it is a story that has to be shared with other people.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay, let's roll. Let's start. I thought about where to start from. I was thinking, let's tell them about our background. You know, I was born in a village called Uzeba, and I was raised in a little city called Akure in Edo State. Okay, I was born in a village called Uzeba in Edo State, and then I was raised in a place called Akure in Ondo State. And then this man now, when we got married, you moved me to the big city of Lagos.
That's correct.
I was a village girl, you know, and so that was what happened. And then you move us to Lagos, and then after that we found ourselves here in the end of the world, the biggest and the most beautiful, to me, is the most beautiful nation on earth, okay, and the most you know nation on earth, America. So we are so happy. So that's just our little background. Okay, now I was 20. I was about 19, about 20 when I found my way to Church of God Mission in Auchi, Lagos. What happened was that when I finished high school, one of my uncles, who was a lecturer in the Polytechnic in Auchi Poly, he asked me to come over so he can fix me in the school. So that was what made me relocate from Akure, Ondo State, to Auchi in Edo State, and that happened to be your hometown.
Yes.
You also attended the same school.
Yes, Auchi is my hometown. I was born in Auchi, and after high school, I went back to Auchi where I did my post-secondary education in the Polytechnic in Auchi. So it was while I was there in Auchi, that was when we met.
Yes. So we're there in Church of God Mission. A young girl, a young beautiful girl. Oh man, I was praying.
You're still very beautiful. Still very beautiful.
Be-
So I call her my fine girl. She's 50 plus now. Even when you are 80, you are still my fine girl.
Thank you for
Because
that name.
when we newly started, oh, beautiful, beautiful. I am so happy and blessed and glad to be in love with a fine girl like this.
I think I should look for a name for you now. Please suggest some names. What name should I call him? Should I start calling him? He calls me now my fine girl. But before then, when we were planning to get married, we planned that we'll have a pet name. You won't just call me Lina,
Yes.
and I won't just call you Israel. We wanted like a romantic name, I think you came up with my love.
Yes.
And I said, oh, great, that's good. I remember those days when you write me letters and you say, my love, oh, I feel, you know. So when did you not change my name to my fine girl?
I was just thinking about that, a while ago. In subsequent programs, we're going to talk about pet names if you are in love. We'll focus on that at a particular time. So just get ready for that. Yes, I decided I will call ourselves my love because love is the binding factor in our marriage. Love is the bedrock of our marriage. So I call her my love. She calls me my love. But the love got deeper. The love got deeper. I said, okay, what other name can I give to this my beautiful wife? After I call her my love, my love, my love for a number of years, for a number of years, I changed it to
My
before
fine
before
girl.
my fine girl, my sunshine. Remember?
Oh, yeah, you were, oh,
My
gosh. This
sunshine,
guy's been
my
calling
sunshine,
name
my
for me.
sunshine. I call her my fine girl.
So nice, my fine girl. Ha. See me see something. Oh. I pray I better be fine, really fine. Okay, so when I finished high school, I moved to Auchi to get admission into the poly, and so then I got into the church. That was when I now got born again, and then I got into the Church of God Mission, and immediately, right away, I joined the choir. I joined the youth ministry.
Mhm.
I joined different groups in the church, and then I saw this guy. They were, you know what? Ouchie men are they are handsome men, really, really, seriously. Ouchie men are handsome men. So you agree with that? Huh?
It's a sample right here.
So so when I got into the church, we were just doing our thing. I didn't go to church to look for a man. I didn't go to church to be attracted to any man. I was just, serving God by myself. And then we got into we have smaller groups
Yes.
where I was involved in your group. There was let's try to mention.
We had a prayer team
Yes.
of some youths. We used to pray together on Saturdays.
Let's try
You
to
know.
mention some names
Okay,
of some people
I
there.
was there. You were there.
Uh,
Our brother, who is now in heaven, Jacob Okodua, was there.
yes,
Then
Lucky
Lucky
Elide.
Lide was there.
He's a pastor now.
Yes, Silvanos Edo
Was
is
there.
a pastor now, of course, also in Lagos.
Bishop Ohimame.
Oyame wasn't really among that prayer
Okay,
group.
but he was
He was, yes,
in the
in the
youth
youth, yes.
soldiers of Christ. And okay, there's this
John
prayer
was
group.
there.
Johnny Hirvin.
Johnny Hirvin was there.
Yeah,
Also,
he's a lawyer now.
Yeah, it's an attorney.
Yeah, you were like four
Like four
or
of us,
five. So so I joined, and then not really join your prayer group. I think sometimes when you people have fasting and prayers,
Mhm.
you then I was more friend to Pastor Jacob
Yes.
than to you.
Exactly.
So Pastor Jacob will invite me and my best friend then, Lizzie
Who
Okodua,
became his wife.
who became his wife.
Yes.
You guys. Huh? So he will ask us to come, and there was another sister too, Margaret. So we will go to Pastor Jacob's house. Pastor Jacob was a bachelor then. They had prayer meetings in his house. So we cook
Yes.
and leave the food for you so that when you finish your fasting, you can have something to eat. And then we walk away because Auchime don't cook.
I cook, don't I cook?
Ah, okay. He cooks. He cooks. But he will ask me for the recipe.
Ouchie meant to hear you say that.
Okay, Auchime,
Ouchie
please.
meant
Some
apologies. Ouchie
cook.
meant- She's just kidding. We cook.
So we were just doing our thing like that. Then, there were many boys always want to marry me, running after me. I remember there was one medical doctor then in the church who one day, every time we close from church, he will go double cross me somewhere. to tell me that how much he loves me and all of that. But I didn't feel this thing called love towards him. So I just always push him aside. This time now I was 21. And then when one day you decide to.
Yes, yes. When we were in the church like that, I would see her, Lena, beautiful young lady. She was showing real zest and real love for the things of God, and somehow I got attracted to her, and I just felt this is going to be a good wife material. So, and I just fell in love with her right on the go, and I didn't waste time because I felt, well, I feel that you should be my wife for life, share my life with her. So I went to her after one of those prayer meetings we were having. I called her aside and I told her to her face, uh, would you be my wife? You know, and I feel led to marry you, and I love you. You want to be my wife? When I said that, she was first of all surprised. She didn't expect me to say that, and my directness. You will say I was crude, because before I met her, I had never spoken to any lady in my life to be a girlfriend or anything like that. Never. She was the very first. So I did how I need to do it. So I just told her point blank, I want you to be my wife, and
And I said no.
she said no. She just said no right or immediately. Well, I didn't give up the idea. So I now told her, okay, we are Christians, so we believe in prayer, right? Believers pray. I said, okay, you think about it and then you pray about it. I want to say that initially she refused. She wouldn't say. She wouldn't even pray about it. Why? Then I was about 26, 27 years old myself, and then no,
You
I
were
was what then?
25.
I was
We got
around
married when you were 27.
27. Okay, so around 24, 25 that time myself, and my wife felt that she was not ready for marriage yet, you know. But I knew that this had to be, because my heart just went after her. I just
Okay.
loved her, and I would think of her when I'm not there. Where she started. When we are in church, I'm correct. Sorry, let me say something. When we are in church back then, before she could even say yes, even though I was there to worship God, I was sincere in my worship. But it seemed as if when she's not there, I don't concentrate very well. So when she's there, I'm more relaxed. Chadebu said yes yet. This thing called love began to work and move on me. So eventually, you decide to say yes.
Yes, the reason I said no at first was because I wasn't ready for marriage. You came straight to me and want me to be your wife. So, and I said no. Even though we've been friends, for about a year that time, I wasn't really ready, for such thing. So when I walked away, even though when I see you, I'm like, this guy is really nice. But so later I started feeling like longing for you, seeking for you, looking out for you. I'm like, oh, Lina. When I sleep, I think about you. When I'm eating, I think about what's he eating now. And when we are coming to church, I think about you. Hey, he's coming to. I know he's there. And in case when I get to church and I don't see you around, I'm like, hey, where is he? Has he given up on me? And you kept pestering me. You kept coming and coming and coming. At this time, I was falling in love. But I didn't want to say, because you see, I grew up in an environment where they tell you, make it tough. Don't say yes immediately. That's the kind of environment I grew up in.
Certainly true. Yes.
Yes. So I will still do that for him. I say, well, give me time. I'm not sure yet, like that. And then he was bugging me, man. He kept coming and coming until, one day I was just, I this time now, I was like madly in love with this guy. I was careful. So, because I don't want to make mistake in my life. So I asked God. I said, God, please show me, reveal who is this man? Really, who is this man? And you know what? Years before then, there was a prophecy that said I was going to be married to a pastor.
Yes, yes. You have been told that before. You will marry a pastor.
There was a prophecy that I'm going to be married to a minister of God. I'm like, minister of God? I really don't want to be married to a minister of God. So, and pastors came to me then,
Yes, pastors
wanting me
came.
to marry them.
Pastors had come to approach you, and apparently they fell in line with the prophecy you have received
Yes.
that you will marry a minister of the gospel. And here was I, a civil engineer. I was not a pastor, so I didn't even match the prophecy.
It
did I?
didn't even match the prophecy. So I went to God and said, hey, God, this man is not a pastor. And there's been prophecy that I'm going to be married to a pastor. And I also have, visions and revelations that I'm going to be in the ministry. I'm going to be a preacher myself. And I really desire to be married to a pastor too. But when this guy came, hey, me, he's a civil engineer. So number one on my list of the husband, the man I want to marry, he has failed. So what should I do? I was just like, what should I do? Well, I now prayed. That was when I now prayed. You'll be telling me to pray, and I say I'm not praying. So I now pray. I say, hey God, show me, reveal to me, who is this man? Who is this man? I love him. I want to marry him, but who is this man? I don't want, he's not a pastor, and I don't want to make a mistake. That day, I had a dream that confirmed to me, that showed me your future. Oh my goodness. And I look at this man. This man will be a preacher. He doesn't really, but then I just believe it. So my mind was settled. I knew I was not in the wrong place. Something deep inside told me that this is my husband. No, this is my husband. And with the love I was feeling and I said, this is my husband. Okay, so because people who have made it, who have money, who have cars, you didn't have car, you didn't have anything. But people who made it, who have money, who have everything, they were not attracted to me. Because not everything that glitters is good, right?
Exactly.
So I now decided that if he's going to ask me again, I'm going to say yes. So I was waiting for the day you come back and ask me again. My mind was becoming like, hey, God, let him come back to me. And that time there was a little gap. Hey, God, let him come back to me. There was this day, I don't know who arranged the meeting, at your friend's place. And then we were eating dinner, all of us, we're eating dinner. And then he just called me out. He said, excuse me, can we talk? In my mind was like, oh, okay.
Let's talk.
Okay. So we went out, and then we went aside in that place, and then you said to me, so what's the outcome? Are you going to say yes? I said, yes, I will marry you.
And that was a day I can't forget in my life. That was my joy knew no limits when she said, yes, I will marry you. And that day, I remember she did her hair like this.
I had my hair on the bun.
On the bun like this, like that. So, and she looked to me like an angel from heaven. She looked so beautiful. So, man, I was so excited. I was so glad, and that began our relationship.
Journey. So
Began
we
our
started
journey.
engagement. So we got engaged, and we we were just looking forward to when we'll get married. I told him, I said, well, I'm not ready for marriage right now, but we can just start a relationship and we go on from there. And then I remember, even though we're so much in love, some people think that when you are engaged with somebody and so much in love that you can't have issue.
That's very important to say, because people don't need to realize that misunderstandings and conflicts, they are a part of relationships,
Mm,
even marriage.
mm.
Before we got
Even in
married,
engagements.
before we got married, we were already engaged, we were already in courtship. We call it courtship back then, and we were flowing with each other very well. But
But something
something
happened.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened that made her to want to back out, to back out.
Mm-hmm.
And you want
Yes,
to tell
let's
the
share that.
people what made you want to back out.
So we were engaged, we're madly in love and all of that. You see, this guy here, is way high up there in spirituality, okay? And I was way down here in spirituality. So he started coming up with some laws, some rules that, thank God, I came back to him. If not, today is different. So he came up with rules and laws, and one of them was that, you know, I can't put perm on my hair. I can't wear a bogus earring. If I have to wear earring, it's going to be like this tiny, tiny one. That's what I'm like, what? Excuse me? I won't give up what I have, what I love, that is not bad. It's not evil. It's not a bad habit. It's not evil. It's not just give it up because I want to get married to you. You should like me. You should love me the way I am and the things that I do, that I wear. Okay. So there are some things that I change. I love wearing really, really, really short things, short dresses, very short that expose my thighs and all of that. You talk to me about that. So yeah, I understand that. So I change my dressing. But to no wear makeup, no put on earrings, no, oh no. I say, oh no. Excuse me, is that it? Is that it? Is that what you're gonna be doing to me when we get married? So I just told him, you know what? Let's break up. We are breaking up right here. I remember I traveled home to Akure to meet my parents then. Then I wrote you a letter, put it in the mail. When you saw that letter, what happened? You came running after me.
One thing that I really enjoyed about our relationship before we even got married, even up to now, is because I am in so much love with my wife, even then not married then, her handwriting looked to me like something extremely, extremely beautiful. So back then there were no emails. You don't do emails, so you have to handwrite your letters. You don't have time to even type, so you handwrite and then you mail. So I will look forward many times to receive her letters over the mail. I was in a different city then working. And when I get her letters, oh, I can't wait to read. I read and read and read over and over again. I put the letter by my pillow and so on and so forth. So when I got this letter from her that is all over, I knew in my heart that it shouldn't be over. And I didn't want to lose this, my wife, whom I love so much. And I now looked at the reason why I was almost losing her, that it was because of certain theological ideas I had heard way back that are not necessarily the way I was exposed to them. Not necessarily the way I thought they were. They were. For example, not perming your hair and things like that. It's not simple to perm your hair. It's not simple to make your hair look beautiful. It's not simple to put on earrings and things like that. But because of the kind of mindset I was brought up with as an SU Christian, So that was the reason why I had some of those thoughts. But thank God we have grown in things of God. I got to learn better. There are some things that matter more to God than these things that we are looking at. God looks at the heart, at the life we live. Life we live. So I said, well, I can't allow that to make me to lose the wife of my life that God has given to me. So I traveled down to meet her in the city where she went to her family house.
Yes.
And when I got there, what happened?
When you got there for the first time, you met my dad,
Hmm.
and I I was like, "What are you doing here? You should have come here. What are you doing here?" And he said to me, "Please, I've come to beg you. I beg you, please, come back to me. I refuse that we break up. Come back to me. And I'm going to change my ways. You promised you're going to change." I said, "Okay. You don't going to put me in bondage?" He said, "No." "Okay." "If you're not going to put me in bondage of those things, okay, fine." Then I saw when you met with my dad, instantly my dad loved you. Oh my God. I'm like, oh gosh. And my dad was like, you know, you and him were like, even though you were
We
different,
instantly bonded.
you and him bonded. So he was talking, we talked to you, they were gisting. Oh my goodness. I just go out of the living room and just leave them there to talk. And my dad, you talk about everything, to sport, to religion, to and my dad was not a Christian at all. So when my dad, I remember my dad said, "Hey, what beer do you take? Let me buy for you." He said, "Oh no, I don't drink a beer." And my dad, "What? So what do you take?" Say, "Okay, just give me soft drink, soda."
Soda, yeah.
And so my dad bought him soda. So you know that we just start up conversation between you and my dad. You were talking and they just bonded. So if my dad wants to eat, he wants your food and his food to be put together.
Together.
So I'm like, oh no, this man is gaining my dad's attention. Okay. And of course my mom really like you too. So we moved past that. We settled, we thought over it, and we came back together. And then it was from there you now said, "Look, before I lose this girl, let's get married." And then we started planning wedding.
Exactly.
And then I went to my dad. I told my dad, "Look, this is the man I'm in love with. I want to marry him." And so we fixed dates for the wedding. My dad said, "You go to do traditional marriage first. I don't care about the church wedding. Traditional marriage for African people, for Nigerians,
Mm.
that is the real marriage." So we fixed traditional. We had our traditional marriage 2 months
Before
before
the church wedding.
the church wedding, because my dad will not see you go shopping for wedding gown when you have not done traditional marriage. It's forbidden, you know. So anyway, we did our traditional marriage in the village in Uzeba. It was beautiful. And then we then set dates 2 months after for the wedding. But we secretly set dates on our own.
Yes.
But we then told them, "Hey, this is the date that's available for our church." So they accepted the date. So we had the wedding. Oh my goodness. That wedding
It was
was
wonderful.
stressful too.
But it was worth all the stress.
It was what all this stress. People were, because when the choir, when the group,
The youth, they were Sunday
and then
school,
and then
busy in the church.
all the church of God mission in Etsako, Igara, was Akoko Edo.
Yes.
Esako is then Esako was just Esako.
Yes. It was
So nice.
one cycle then.
East and
And
West and Akoko Edo,
Mm.
Akoko Edo.
Yes.
All the churches came together. My goodness, when I saw the crowd, my heart. We didn't have enough food for everybody, but they were very
They
happy.
were very excited, they're very happy.
I remember the youth carry you on their head. You want
Yeah.
to talk about that?
The youth, my fellow youth, they were so happy for me that I got married. And after this solemnization, right there before the reception, the youth carried me up shoulder high and were dancing with me in the church. I mean, they put me on their shoulders and were dancing with me in the church, dancing around. It was a very, very joyous experience. So that is how our marriage started. And as we speak now, it's been 32 years.
32 years.
November 19 of 1988. And now it's 32 years. So this is our story we are sharing with you. Let you know how we got started, and we will share more and more with you later on how it has been since then, how we cope with stress, how we cope with disagreements, relationships, how we get it better, how we keep this going, and so on and so forth.
No. Okay, so after the wedding, we moved to Lagos,
Yes.
right? And we were in Church of God Mission in Lagos, and we just keep doing our things and all of that. You were already living in Lagos.
I was already in Lagos
Yeah.
before I went for the wedding,
Yeah.
and then brought you to Lagos.
Yeah, it brought me to Lagos. So we just continue. Our first, we had our honeymoon. Remember what that place is called again?
It should be Takwabe
Beach.
Takwabe Beach.
There was a
Takwabe
hotel
Beach. Yeah, there's a hotel by the beach in Takwabe in Lagos.
in Apapa.
So that's where we went to have our honeymoon. It was
Yeah.
glorious experience.
Every night we go out to the beach and we sit there and we just gaze into the sea. And that's why sometimes when we have, issues in our marriage, we want to go back to the beach and sit there and just, gaze at the sea.
Brings back those memories.
Yes. So, when our first year was really glorious, good, I then about our second, by the end of our first year, then I was expecting our first baby, and it was so like he seeing our first baby. I remember how you were nervous. And the doctor had to send you send you out of the hospital.
First baby, didn't know what to expect.
The doctor had to send you home. I said, you know what? Go home, go bring something from home so that he will not have heart attack.
We look back now. We laugh at those experiences.
Oh,
we
he
had.
was. Oh, I pity him. I'm like, oh no, this man is going to. So we had our first baby, Priscilla, beautiful girl, and then we had another one.
Then 3 years later,
we had
we had our son, Israel, and then
Israel Junior, and
3
then
years later,
we had twins.
we had two baby girls, twins,
Beautiful twins.
and that was an experience we had.
Yes, and so the first year was good. We all everywhere love in Tokyo, until we had the baby, and then family intrusion, extended family intrusion came in, and we started having some issues. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, there are certain things that you learn with time. So I had to learn my lesson on how to manage my new family to avoid intrusion from outside the family, because I didn't know some things I got to know later. But because of the things I didn't know early, that put my young wife in a precarious position, that she felt abandoned in the marriage, and she even wanted out. But I had to, because whenever I see my wife not happy, I am not happy. And I want to find out why is the love of my life not happy? What have I not done properly? What have I not done well? And from my experience, I discovered that as a husband, it is your duty to make sure that your wife is satisfied, that she is happy. So because of some mistakes I made earlier on, which I now knew better, God helped us. We were able to take care of that situation, and then we escaped that hurdle, which was threatening our marriage back then. Just about 2 years in marriage. 2 years in marriage, So we have had ups and downs, but our story is that God has taught us how to take care of things like that, and He has helped us to to be here 32 years down the road.
Yes.
And still
So
counting.
there's this thing we always do when we have issues. You always wanted to restart. You
Yes.
know, when you started that, I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. No, leave me alone. You know, things like that. But you always tell me, you know what, we can start afresh. We can start again. We can forget about the past. Please, let's forget about the past. Let's pretend it never happened. Let's just start afresh. You know, in the beginning, it wasn't making sense, so much sense to me. But later, as we grew, it started making sense to me. Especially when we enter into the computer age. When your computer has issue, you just carry it and just go dump it. You try to fix it. You try to restart. You know, even our normal cell phones. When there's something, when you just uploaded a new thing, they tell you put it off,
Restart.
restart. So this is one key thing that we have been using that has really, really been helpful to us. And how do we restart? You know, in your computer, you can press button and all that. But how we restart? We just decide to go be by ourselves. Sometimes we might not even go out. You know, it could just be within, within us, within our bedroom, and we just sit down and just talk. And in that talk, majorly we are talking about, how we started, how we fell in love, how we stood that day before, multitude of people,
And said, I do. I do.
and said
That
I
vow
do.
is important. We
So
don't forget that.
yeah, so we said, what made you, sometimes you ask me, say, what made you to, marry me in the first place? Said, can you think about that? And let's repeat it. Let's do it again. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true, you know. So we just put things behind us and we just restart. And another thing is this, please, in marriage you have issues. It doesn't mean it is over. You can settle things. I know there are some things that takes time to be over, or that won't even be, that is actually over. Yes, I know that. But if it's not all those things, if it's something that can be fixed, we do it. We just look at it. Hey, we can fix this, and we just do it.
It's
And
always better. It's always better to look for solutions than to one out. Always better. Always better.
and the solution is always within.
Many times it's within. It's within. It's
What
within. It's
made
within
you?
us. It's within us.
Yes,
We
in the
just change
beginning,
our mind.
that year, 19 um 80, 85,
Yeah, 85.
December,
Yes.
when you asked me to marry you, and I was 23 plus. What made you to say is this girl or nobody else?
That's a very vital factor, and
Mm-hmm.
that is that love.
Yeah.
That is
So
the love. So if you don't forget that you began the marriage because you love one another. Nobody was your spouse didn't force you to marry them. You love them because you married them because you love them.
mm-hmm,
That love is there,
mm-hmm.
and love has a very unique feature that is called sacrifice.
Oh, sacrifice.
Love sacrifices a lot. And from our experience, we find that marriage would always work when there's sacrifice in the marriage. And the sacrifice because of love, because of love. Even think about it. If you really love people, you make sacrifices for them. We learned earlier on that if we are selfish in the marriage, it's not going to work. If I'm really thinking of me, my comfort, what I want, how I see it, it's not going to work. So I have to put myself into your shoes and try to look at the situation from your own eyes, and that's compromise. And that's exactly how God has helped us to be able to be still married for 32 years and we are just getting started.
So
Just getting
we
started.
just compromise. We just keep compromising
Exactly.
each other.
Exactly. We have to.
We have to.
Because that is what has helped us so far. Because none of us has stood my ground. It is my way or the highway. If you do that, it's not going to work.
And you
It's
know,
not going to work.
up till now, even after 20 years, when we're 10 years, I remember we exchanged our vows again.
We did.
And you wore a suit, I wore a nice dress like a wedding gown, and our kids were,
They're quite young. They were there, they
Israel was
carry
flower
flowers.
girl, Israel was flower groom boy,
Yes.
and the girls were flower girls, and we exchanged our vows again. Then when 20, we still, 20, 30, we still have, some issues along the line. But you know what? Sometimes you need, when it's getting out of hand, because let me tell you something, my love. Do you know when a woman make up their mind and said, I don't want to go on with this marriage again, it takes, I don't know, a miracle to change that woman's mind. So I don't blame people at all, because it takes a miracle to change that woman's mind. I remember, like years ago, maybe like 10 or years ago, I made up my mind again. I said, I'm not going to continue with this marriage. I don't want to continue with this marriage, because some things happened, in our lives. We are going to be sharing some of these things, so that people outside can learn. Okay. But you know what? Guess what? My children were grown up this time. I told them, look, I'm going in for divorce, and told no, I didn't tell any of my family members, but my husband had to cry out to my mother, cry out to my brothers,
If it was,
cry
if
out
it
to
was, if it
his
was,
friends.
if it was some men who don't understand, they will also get angry. Say you are divorcing, go, forget
Okay,
it, and that'll be
let's
the end. That's one thing I must mention here.
yeah.
Both of you can't be angry at the same time. Both of you can't say it's done, it's done. If you say so, then it will be done. That will be the end of story. So if one person has a reason to say, like she has had, to say no more, no more, no more, no more, I'm through with the marriage. The second person, like me, I wouldn't say, okay, you are done, let it be done. No. If we do that, then it will be done. We won't be here today telling you this story. That's why we have to be extremely, extremely compromising in our relationship. That is very, 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 very vital.
Hold on.
Hold
with
on.
your love.
Hold
Hold it.
on.
Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Anything you can do, like what he did. Call my mom came. My mom said, what did I just hear? This man is like an angel, And even then, I didn't realize that, look, this man is impeccable when it comes to, he makes mistakes. I make big mistakes too. There's no angel among us, but you know what? There is something that you can do to make it work again. So what we did, how you invited family in, because as I was growing up, we're told in counseling, we're told, don't share your matter with anybody. Settle it in your bedroom. My love, I don't believe in that, because we have tried to settle some things in our bedroom. By this time, our children has not even had nothing. We don't fight. It doesn't beat me. It doesn't box me. We don't fight. So, but you know what? And even when we have something to argue about, we lock the door. We make sure we are by ourselves. But the thing is this: our people didn't hear. Didn't want to tell anybody, but it was getting out of hand. What of when the trouble becomes so high that you have to bust the bedroom door open? So you did the right thing. You call my mom, you call, some of my family members, they all came and they were talking to me. Everybody, it was then I said, you don't value what you have until you lose it. Because everybody sees my husband as, oh my God, the angel is he really is, okay? Don't get me wrong. The human angels
Are still human,
are still human.
not
So
angels in heaven.
in
Human
heaven.
angels are still
Yeah.
humans.
He's an angel, it was good. So I I came back to my senses and we fixed things. I can never forget that day. You went on your knees, begging me, holding me, don't leave me, don't go. And everybody will tell him, look, he loves you. He loves you. Sometimes some little things can just tell you that, oh, you know what, your spouse doesn't love you. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Check it again. Test it again. You know?
Yes, it's very important. From our experience, I discovered that it's very important for you not to have divorce on the table as a ready option. From my experience, I can tell you that if you have divorce on the table as a ready option, if it is there, many things will happen, guaranteed, that will make you want out. They will happen. Later, we're going to address the issue of divorce in marriage. We will also address the issue of how to handle pregnancy in marriage, husband and wife, things like that. But so the thing is, the best thing is not to have divorce on the table at all. Why? If it is on the table, you will always be tempted to go through that door out.
Yeah.
Every
Try other
crisis you
options
have,
first.
yes, every crisis you have can be resolved. You have to determine that all of your troubles in marriage can be fixed.
There are other
Believe
options.
that. There are other options. There are other ways
Try
to
them
solve the problems.
first.
And when you try all other ways, try some more ways. Some way. Now we are not condemning you if you have divorced. No, no, far from it. We are not condemning you if you have divorced. No, that's not the point. But we are saying from our experience, we have discovered that it's better to always find a solution instead of taking divorce as it were
At the first
immediate
option.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be an immediate option, okay? If there are things that can be resolved, okay? Try to do that first, to take those steps. Because really, of a truth, there are some divorce that are better. It will make your life better, will deliver you from evil, it will move you to the next level of your life, it will move you to next destiny, of your life. But first, make sure you are doing the right thing. That's the crown of it all. So we went on, and by God's grace, that is our story. Today we are happy. Another issue we had was when I got into menopause. When I got into menopause, my husband didn't understand that when there is menopause, the woman's body changes. And, there's that tendency the woman will, not every woman, goes through, chronic and severe menopause experience. I did. I went through real severe menopause experience until I started finding out ways to handle things, ways to do it. So it was almost breaking us up again. Until we now found out, I told him, I said, hey, you know what? You need to go search and learn how to handle your wife during menopause.
Because menopause actually mean men.
Oh,
Oh, pause.
pause.
Men. Oh,
Oh,
pause.
pause.
Pause and look and think again and
Hey,
and
stand back.
man, oh,
Oh,
pause.
pause.
So stand back and look and see what's going on, because when your wife is in menopause, she becomes a different person altogether in many cases, and you don't really know exactly why they are behaving the way they are behaving, Not only you don't know, they don't know themselves. They can't tell you what's happening to them. So you have to find a way to find out what's going on and how to resolve it. So we'll share more with you. One of video, our video will be how to handle menopause.
Yes. And so our new YouTube channel is called Love in Paradise. Please, when we are done now, help us subscribe even as you are watching through YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Love in Paradise, Israel and Lina Jimah, and you see us. And please subscribe to our channel, like it, and share with your friends.
Share with your friends.
Because we're going to be talking about, relationship, marriage, sex, love, sex in pregnancy, sex when you have little babies at hand. We really went through all that really well. Really well.
We learned early. We're able to. What we learned really helped us.
Yes.
So we hope we can help somebody too.
Yeah. All through my pregnancy period, even when I was carrying twins, I never pushed you out, right?
Yeah, we learned how to handle that. So we're going to be sharing that with everybody later.
Okay, so that's our story. Don't go away. We want to cut our anniversary cake. Okay, let me go get it.
Don't go away. Stay with us. Stay with us. 32 years and counting. And still counting. 32 years and counting. Now we're about to cut our cake. And thank you so much for spending time with us. Just give us some compliments and we will shortly be done here as we cut our cake. Good. Wonderful. 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 32 years. Good, 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 good. In the 32 years, we've learned a couple of things, and we are going to be sharing this with you from time to time. Help us to please subscribe to this Love in Paradise channel. Share with your friends. Share with those around you. And make some comments right there. Now, before you leave today's video, I want to suggest that you make some comments. Give us some feedbacks. Tell us some things you want us to begin to do. Tell us some things that you think will really help people. And don't hesitate to also ask some questions. Ask some questions. We're going to take time to read all of your comments, and we shall be responding to those comments in future videos, because we really want to see you happy, your relationship more than ever before. Want to see everybody's relationship doing well, happy, excited, and enjoying your lives together. You see, we want God to use us to some degree, help many people today to cure pains in their relationships, pains in their marriages, pains in their love relationship. And we'll be sharing these things, and that will be a blessing to many folks. So if you have any question, please go ahead and drop your question on the comment box, and let's know areas you want us to address in subsequent videos, and we will take time to address them. If you subscribe, also hit the notification button so you will know when the next video comes out, and be a part of Love in Paradise. Love in Paradise. You can enjoy paradise right here in love. Here we go.
Yeah, we're going to hold it actually.
Okay.
All right. So this is our little cake, just a little cake, because the reason, no, I can hold it. Yeah, I can hold it. Yeah, the reason it's just a little cake is because the kids are not around. Nobody's around to eat the cake with us, so we are going to consume this cake. Don't worry. After eating it, we'll go to the gym. Okay? All right, we're going to count. What do we count? Spell love.
Okay.
I'll spell 32.
32
Let's show them
Y
the one.
YROS.
Okay.
We just say 32 YROS. How about that?
Okay. Why don't you count 1 to 32? Okay.
One,
1, 2,
two, three.
5, 10,
There you go.
30,
There you go.
31, 32. You want to drop the mic?
Okay.
God gave